Hey guys, it's Xander here, and we're back looking at brews in Standard. This is an aggro Izzet deck I put together for you guys. I found a card that I wanted to build around in the Guilds of Ravnica set, and this card is insane, and the deck is a whole lot of fun to play. So I'm just going to talk about the cards in the main board, cards in the sideboard, and interactions between, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video. So the card we're trying to build around here is Beamsplitter Mage, which is for Izzet colors, blue and red. It's a 2/2 Vedalken Wizard with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Beamsplitter Mage, if you control one or more other creatures that spell could target, choose one of those creatures, copy that spell, and the copy targets that chosen creature. So if you have him and any other thing out and you target him with something, it copies it and does it for him as well. Running a 4 of Gobling Electromancer, which is for, again, Izzet colors, so blue and red. He's a 2/2 Goblin Wizard with instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. This makes all of our buff spells 1 cheaper, so a lot of the times we're playing, or nearly all of the time we're playing for 1. On the more aggressive side of stuff, we're running a 4 of Dragonauts, which is for 3. It's a blue and a red, a 1/3 Fairy Wizard with flying. And then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Dragonauts gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So if you cast any buff spells on Beamsplitter, it's still going to get the +2, and then Beamsplitter can copy this buff spell and target Dragonauts again. So this can get insanely big with very, very small amount of effort. It's just insane how fast this deck can go. We're also running a 3 of Adeliz the Cinder Wind, which is for 3. So 1, a blue and a red. It's a 2/2 legendary creature human wizard with flying and haste. So it's a off the top of the deck threat, which is great. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, wizards you control get +1/+1. So it's like an Anthem prowess effect, which is really good. Adeliz by herself can just blow out a whole game. So it's definitely something we wanted to be playing. And because everything except 2 creatures in this deck are wizards, it's a really thick wizard tribal theme. So it's just a great card to have. We're also running a 2 of Erratic Cyclops, which is for 4, 3 and a red. It's a 0/8 Cyclops Shaman. The big guy's got trample, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Erratic Cyclops gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. So it's kind of a one-punch finisher in this deck, as long as we have a Beamsplitter out. Well, especially if we have a Beamsplitter out, because any buff spells we play, it's going to get the bonus from the buff if we target Beamsplitter as well, and it's going to get the bonus from the converted mana cost, regardless of whether or not we make them cheaper with the Electromancer, which is great. So yeah, just being able to swing him quite often with 10 or more power and trample is just game winning. We're also running a 4 of Risk Factor, which is for 3, 2 and a red. Target opponent may have Risk Factor deal 4 damage to them. If that player doesn't, you draw 3 cards, and it has Jumpstart, which is the new mechanic. So you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs, then exile the card. And this happens at instant speed. A lot of people see this and they go, oh, this is a great draw card. It's not really a draw card, because you wouldn't be in your right mind to not take the damage, and like, especially if you're versing an aggro deck. Occasionally people will fuck up, they will let you draw the cards. So when it is drawing you cards, it is exceptional value. But it's in here because 4 of them means there's 8 chances to deal 4 damage to your opponent for 3. Or more often than not, less, because we'll be having Electromancers out. So it's in so much damage, it is instant speed, and it's freaking awesome. I love this card. Because we're so heavy on the Wizard Tribal theme, we're also running a 4 of Wizard's Lightning, which is for 3, so 2 and a red. An instant speed, and this spell costs 2 less if you control a wizard. More often than not, we're going to have a wizard, so it just turns into a lightning bolt, because it's also dealing 3 damage to any target. Because of the Beamsplitter, we do want to be running the buff spells as a big thing. Like, it's one of the big themes of the deck is just being able to buff him and whatever is alongside him. So we're doing that in the form of these few spells. So we're running a 4 of Run Amok, which is for 2, so 1 and a red. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. This means Beamsplitter can be a proper threat, and whatever else is getting the buff as well can also be insanely big. And like, especially if we're playing, if Dragonauts goes to swing in along with Beamsplitter, we target Run Amok targets Beamsplitter, so Beamsplitter is now swinging in as a 5/5 with trample. We Dragonauts, we played an instant, so it gets +2, so now it's swinging in for 3. And then because of Beamsplitter's ability, we also copy the ability, or copy the spell's ability, and then target him again. So we Dragonaut is swinging in for 6 with Trample. So, yeah, it's insane. Sure Strike in a 4 of for 2, 1 and a red, it's instant speed again, and target creature gets +3/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Again, first strike is really relevant, especially in the current standard, because there's so many big things that are going to be able to stop us. Monogreen Stompy is something we don't really want to see, but if we've got first strike, it gives us at least it gives us a chance. So it's just, yeah, first strike is really relevant. It's great. We're not running any counter spells in the main board, so for a bit of protection in this deck, we're running a 4 of Dive Down, which is for 1 blue. It's at instant speed. Target creature you control gets +0/+3 and gains hexproof until end of turn. So if we target Beamsplitter, it also targets something else. So this is for 1, like, situational, yes, but more often than not, it's for 1, 2 creatures get 0/3 and hexproof until end of turn, which is really relevant when stuff like Beamsplitter and Adeliz, even we Dragonauts, they all paint targets on their back because they are so good, and it very quickly becomes apparent what we're trying to do in the deck. So hexproof is very relevant. It stops a shitload. It's effectively countering a spell if they go to target something, and then we just go, no, it's hexproof. And to finish off the spells, we're running a 3 of Huatli's Spurring, which is for 1 red. At instant speed, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. The last bit says if you control a Huatli Planeswalker, it gets +4/+0 instead. We're not running Huatli, we just care about the +2/+0 for 1. It's just the only other thing that I could find that I really wanted to play just to be able to get the stats. So you could probably find other stuff. I'm not sure if you just want to put lightning strikes or something in there and just run the small amount of spells that were there, but it's been running really well with the stuff that I've got at the moment. Touching over the land base here, we're running a 4 of Steam Vents, which comes in tapped unless you pay 2 life. Sulphur Falls comes in tapped unless you control a mountain or island. A 4 of Mountains, a 4 of Islands, 2 Memorial to Genius, which is 5 tap sack, draw 2, comes in tapped, tap out blue, and 2 Field of Ruin, allowing us to blow up non-basics because there are still a lot of very relevant non-basic lands that we need to be able to kill. Just touching over the sideboard here, if the Beamsplitter plan doesn't work, we kind of flip the switch on this deck and turn into more of an Izzet control. So we're running a lot of counter magic in the sideboard, but we're also running a 4 of Crackling Drake, which is for 4, so 2 blue and 2 red. It's a star 4. It's a Drake with flying, and its power is equal to the number of instants and sorceries in exile or in your graveyard. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So it draws a card, but it's also a really aggressive card that we can bring into from our sideboard if we need it. So if the Erratic Cyclops isn't doing its job, or if they've just got too much of something that's stopping us getting through, adding that extra threat can often be the difference between us winning game 2 or not. So it's just a really, really good card. A lot of people are running just Drakes and a shitload of spells, and that deck works fine too, but that's not what we're trying to do. So I didn't want it in the main board, but it's still a great card, so we're definitely going to have it in the sideboard. Running a 2 of Negate, which is for 2, so 1 on a blue, counter target non-creature spell at instant speed. A 3 of Wizard's Retort. It's the blue of the Wizard Tribal cards, which counters a spell and costs 1 less if you control a wizard. So if you do control a wizard, it just costs you 2 blue. So that's a great card. Also running a 4 of Ionize, which is for 3, 1, a blue and a red. At instant speed, you counter target spell, and Ionize deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. So this stops a whole lot of threats when we need it to. It also pings for a little bit of damage, which is always going to be relevant. We're trying to race with this deck a lot of the time, so it's just an exceptionally good card, especially in certain matchups, so we're just going to be always running it. Also running a 2 of Sorcerer's Spyglass, which is for 2. It's an artifact sits on the battlefield, and then when it enters the battlefield, you look at target opponent's hand, you choose any card name. Activated abilities of sources of the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So this shuts down Planeswalkers like hard. Doesn't matter if the card isn't in their hand, you name any card and it'll shut it down. So you name any of the Planeswalkers that you've seen in game 1 and they can't do anything with them when they play them. A really good card. You can probably cut an Ionize for another one of these just so it's even more reliably drawing into it. So that is Beamsplitter in Standard. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked the deck, if you didn't like the deck, if you think I'm missing cards that would be great in it, or otherwise, let me know in the comments. As always, do the YouTube stuff. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can see new content when I release it. And keep questing, guys. I'll see you in the next video.